Sup, you fools? Matt, ESC United. It's your favorite Eurovision channel, and it has happened. The first semifinal of Melodifestivalen is over and is still out actually. But since we're all about Sweden, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about what has happened, and guess what? I don't have to do it on my own. I have underneath me virtually is Robert. It sounded kind of wrong. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Matt. Despite being underneath you, I have to say I'm just going to be careful
I
not
didn't
to
say
look
you're
up too much for the
underneath.
next half an hour or so.
I mean, anyway. And then to my right, it's Sanio. What did you think, Sanio, without going into the songs, about the overall show Melodifestivalen tonight?
uh, we know that Sweden knows what they do. You know, the performances were good, the interval acts were good too, the hosts were fantastic. I think they once again did a very good job.
They did a good job. I think overall as well. Now, but let's talk about how did you feel, Robert, about hosting? Four hosts, too much? Did it work? Chemistry? What was your first impression?
I thought it was brilliant. I will have to hold my hand up and say I am a huge Sarah Dawn Finer fan. I think she's
Who's not?
amazing, and I will exactly. I mean, who here is not? Honestly, she could do it on her own, and it would be fabulous. I actually thought that the four of them worked well together. I mean, obviously, it's difficult for us, none of us speaking Swedish, so it's all kind of passing us by in terms of the actually what they're saying. But I think in terms of the charisma, they clearly get on very well, and it seemed very fluid, the show, and I thought it really worked. So yeah, I was
Yeah,
very happy with it.
I was surprised as well because I'm usually the one that always complains too many hosts. We don't need 15 of them. Four of them seems always a whole lot. But they had a
Indeed.
good flow there. You know how they switched up the groups. It wasn't like one was the green room person or anything like that. It was like at one point these two were doing it, then they switched up. The other twos were doing it. Sanyo, did you like the opening number?
Oh, it was fantastic. They did a fantastic job. It was super entertaining. I think that I would like to. I think. Well, it's Sweden, guys. We always expect they start the show with a bang, and they did it again.
Yeah. It was very interesting because I looked at, I was listening to the song. It seemed so familiar, but it seems that they used like Megan Kane, Trainor's music, like, and then they like
Mm.
your future husband or something like that. It sounded like that to me. And interesting enough, I looked up the dancers. Like, I recognize some of those dancers from like Love, Love, Peace, Peace when it was in Sweden, and some of the other Melodifestivalen. And so it's like fun to see, like, wait, it's the same dancers. But I guess there can only be so many people in such a small country as Sweden that can dance very well. But the thing that we care about mostly are the results. If you haven't watched the show yet, make sure to do that first because I'm going to spoil it to you in three, two, one, now. So the two direct qualifiers, Victoria and Mohombi, those were the two questions. Without going into the songs again, Sanio, were you surprised after watching the seven songs that those were the two qualifier, or you think that's exactly how it's going to go down?
I was actually a bit surprised because this semifinal was a bit unpredictable because there were some big names in it, and I did not expect I did not expect Victoria to qualify, you know.
Ooh, that's interesting.
But yeah, I did not expect her to qualify because of the competition. I thought she would not be the one.
Mm-hmm.
But when I watched the show, I thought she was absolutely flawless and she deserved the spot in the final.
Okay, what about you, Robert? Were you surprised?
So I will hold my hand up and admit I've not listened to anything before the semi-final.
Okay.
So for
So you
me,
didn't
the
have a first
performances
impression.
tonight,
Okay.
yeah, it was entirely fresh. I hadn't listened to the snippets or anything, so
Hmm.
I was just judging them entirely based on what I saw tonight. And I thought that Victoria was delivering something that we just haven't seen from her on the Melody Festival and stage. And I thought she was fantastic and absolutely 100% deserved to be in the final.
It was a very
Hornby, on the
emotional
other hand,
performance, right? That was like she was so that was like she felt it. She's a good singer,
yeah,
obviously. We don't have to deny
Hmm.
that. That's not an argument. But it felt as she was so into it. Like I think she
yeah,
co-wrote the
Hmm.
song for the first time as well. And
yeah.
like you saw when she qualified, that was a genuine like, oh my god, I'm actually through. That was like a very
Yeah.
personal moment. Do you agree, Sanyo?
Yeah, because it feels that I did like Save Me, and I also like it as I Lay Me Down. But this song, it felt so honest. It feels that she composed the song right from her heart, and the performance, it felt honest. It felt sincere. It was powerful at the same time. I was totally in love with that. The rain was just fantastic, and there was also something very interesting. People probably did not care about that, but for me, the wire on the mic, that was very interesting. It gave me the song this 90s feeling, you know?
Yeah, I
It
saw
felt
that
like
too. I was
some.
like, it's because they cannot have a wireless one because she's gonna get die electrocuted and get and die, performing
Yeah,
probably. So it had to be a
yeah,
cable there.
but
Did
it was very nice.
Yeah. So Robert, my question to you now, the whole rain thing. I mean, that's not necessarily the most original thing. Ruth
No.
Lorenzo was pretty upset about that. I'm pretty sure. But do you think it worked? Was it too cliche or it was appropriate?
I I really think it would. I think that the staging Victoria's song tonight was really spot on. It allowed her to shine. She was the star of the song, and I think the staging really reflected that. I loved the glitter rain that we had beforehand, and then it turning kind of coming into the full rain. It looked spectacular, and sure, it's a cliche, but let's face it, Eurovision's been going on quite some time now. What's left that isn't cliche in a
That's
way?
cliche,
It's
right?
there, there is so many things that have been done before, and it's more about how you use it than what it is. And I think it was appropriate. It worked with the song, and as long as it's like it's a song that is really personal to her, and I think that that comes across, and she enjoys the performance. And you do feel like this is something that is, she's been waiting to do this, and
Yes,
finally
it
she's
is
got a
true.
chance.
I'm very happy. Like, you can help but be happy for him. People are saying Dania, Eli, for instance, Victoria was flawless vocally, but it's just a simple ballad. Alice Wonder, similar. Victoria was great. The song, not IMHO. And here's the thing: anyone who's been following me for years knows that I'm a huge Victoria fan. Love her music, love her
Mm.
voice, loved her two previous entries to death. I agree, actually, the song, I don't think necessarily I would go as crazy over if it wasn't performed by Victoria the way she did it. I don't think the studio version would wow me as much, but that's why this is not just a radio show. It is a vocal performance. The singer is so important. I'm not just talking about great vocals, but it needs to work, and I think it all came
Yes.
together. That's why it was so good. And Sanya,
Yes.
one question for you from I'm going to ask both of you that. ESC Maruchik is asking,
Mm.
do you guys think, I mean, we don't know all the
That's
other
all
songs, that
question.
Victoria is a contender after what we saw tonight? With a loosely contender because we don't know the competition, but do you think this is a potential winner, not considering that could be another, but just the song as it stands on its
Yeah.
own merit? What do you think, Robert?
I think it's the strongest song in this semi-final.
Okay.
If that's going to be enough after the other three, heck knows. But for me, tonight, if it was just this selection of seven and this was selecting the Swedish entry, it would be Victoria for me, and I don't think it's even close, to be dead honest.
What about you, Sanya? You think this one is the one to look out for at this point, the one to beat?
I agree. I think that's the best song and performance out of this semifinal. And we never know Melody Festival, and there might be somebody with a stronger song in the next semifinals. But I think this is at this point is the one to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I agree with it. Now, the other qualifier. Oh, actually, Linden EC said something in German. I'm going to translate. Besser gut geklaut als schlecht selbst erfunden, which basically means better stolen well than badly invented, basically, right? So it's just like, just use something that's working rather than coming up with something that's crappy. So I guess that makes sense. But the other qualifier is of the night is Mohombi and Hello. I was not surprised in the end. First of all, I didn't when I initially just listened to the snippets. I don't think it was going to qualify. Then I looked at the rehearsal polls, and he was a clear leader. And I was like, okay, there's something going on that is more than what we see in that particular clip. And I think it was just the overall whole thing that worked so well. First of all, Mohombi is so much fun. So he's very charismatic, very likable, and I think the staging looked great. He with this memorable, like with the whole not stomping thing that they did. I was like, hello. It was really cool. It was really neat. But of course, the little effect in the back with the cartoon girl and then him turning into it. It reminded me a little bit of like Aha's 1980 something take on me, where they were like a newspaper, but instead of a newspaper, they were like those little cartoons. That was really cool. I thought it was so slick. It seemed so appropriate, and I knew once I saw it, this one's going to qualify. It wasn't even a shocker. Now, it is a little repetitive, right? Hello, 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 hello. I'm like, okay, I get it. Hello. But it is, I thought just overall, it was exactly what people would vote for because you just remember it. What do you think, Sanyo?
I think that I was not expecting him to qualify actually. I think that his vocals were not perfect, especially in the chorus. And I think that, okay, it was a nice staging, but well, I don't think that would be enough for him to qualify. He's a big name in Sweden. I think that what really pushed him is his fame. I did not like the song at all. I think there were other songs that were much better, to be honest.
It was definitely my top two. What do you think, Robert?
I've been sitting here struggling to stay quiet through all of what you've been saying because I genuinely did not see why this qualified.
Really?
I really hate, given some of the discussions we've had around the French selection, to say just on the name, but honestly, that's what I'm putting it down to right now because
but that's
it's
not how
like
it works in Sweden. You saw Lorraine just on the name; she couldn't make it. A lot of big names don't make it. So I don't necessarily think that is alone at this time.
But he's a big name outside of Eurovision.
Is he? Because of that one
Grammy
song that
Award
he had.
winning? I understood that much of what Sarah Dawn Finer
Yeah,
said.
he had a big hit like 13 years ago. But he's not. It's of course that's it. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. You know, that was his song, and that's it. So I don't think that. I think that he just. It was the song that immediately got stuck in your ear. It was visually very spot on.
But I disagree with that, Matt. I actually don't think visually it was particularly good. I thought that his the use of the character in the background and the attempts at interaction, honestly, it feels like we've gone backwards from 2015 and Heroes. Like, what Mans did was so much better, and tonight, honestly, it felt like it was kind of a level below. Vocally, weak, to be honest. The only thing I enjoyed about the performance was the touch of the lady coming out towards the end from behind the screen mirror thing. But that was about it. It genuinely passed me by, and I was quite surprised that everyone seemed to be so much, there seemed to be a lot of support for him, because I don't think that he really brought a lot. Clearly, he obviously got the support of the Swedish public, and I'm not, and obviously you too, Matt, and I'm not allowed contractually to disagree with you too much, because otherwise I get fired.
I know, I couldn't find the mute button quickly enough for you to...
But I genuinely, I mean, given how people were reacting, I wasn't surprised that he qualified. But if you just give me the 7 performances in isolation and ask me to point to the 2 qualifiers, he's not the person I'm saying is the qualifier.
Yeah. I mean, before the show, I listened to the clips. So I know you didn't watch them, Robert, so I'm just going to ask you, Sanyu. Just when you saw the initial, 30-second clips on you initially.
Oh, I did not
Oh,
watch.
you didn't either? Okay, I saw them, and I wasn't sure. So initially, when I heard, the 30-second clips, I thought it would be Wiktoria and Nano, because the part that they showed of the Nano song was fantastic. And I was like, those two got to go through. And but after seeing Mohombi, I see what the Swedish voters saw in it. Clearly, you didn't. That's the beauty about music, right? You just never know.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And I'm looking at the chat. I think it's a little bit. I guess no, polarizing is the right word, but some people say it's my favorite. Some people it's the mirror. It's not for everyone. But Robert and I, we had that conversation last week about you don't want to be liked. You want to be loved and despised. You don't want to be just in the middle, right?
Exactly. And that's probably why he is now in the final. And, as I say, I do not understand why that song is in the final based on the performance that we saw tonight. And I would be surprised if this does well in the final, if I am quite honest.
Okay.
But
What, Sania? So I know you said you were surprised that it qualified, just like Robert. If you had to replace Mohombi, who think should have gone through?
Anna Bergendahl. That song was just marvelous. I'm not sure about the act. I think it was too um ponytail, My Little Pony stuff.
Hmm.
But well, she did a good job. Her voice is much better. She has grown a
She's
lot since
matured a lot. Her
2010.
voice. She sounds, yeah.
Much better. She did a good job. And I think the act was good enough. And in my opinion, she was the second best after Victoria.
Okay. What about you, Robert? If you, I know you kind of agree with him about Mohombi. Who would you put into the top two? Who should have gone through directly?
You're going to get cross with us because I'm just agreeing with this guy. He's spot on. I like this guy. We're friends. Yeah, totally.
Hey,
I thought Anna's song was she came across as easily the most professional of all of the performances
indeed.
tonight. It
Indeed.
was spot on, and I really liked the staging. I know some people have compared it negatively to Germany 2016 Century,
Mhm.
and quite a lot of trees and 2017. Sorry,
I
I
thought
hit myself.
16,
Lots
17.
of
Oh.
trees and plants but I thought it was a stellar song, and I thought she was really delivered a really great performance. And I am disappointed that she didn't make it through directly to the
Me
final.
too.
Um, Given how Mohombi came across to everyone else, maybe that's the sign that I was missing. Based on performances, no question for me, it should have been Anna.
Interesting. So Sania's right that I feel that she really matured her voice a lot
Mhm.
over the years. She
Indeed.
sounds like a professional. She sounded good. The staging was really
Totally.
pretty, so I can see that. And I'm alone here today. I thought it was boring as hell. I was like, why is she like
Really?
I was so bored with that song. I just
Can we mute you, Matt?
no. I'm with Sweden tonight. I mean it's not bad. Look, I was just like, yeah, it's a song. It's just like it doesn't have a hook. It just falls flat. It's pretty, but it doesn't. It was her that really made it stand out. If it wasn't for her, I don't think it shouldn't have even made it to the second chance route. She is the one that
What?
really made that song to me a little bit more memorable. But the song itself, even when I listened to the clip at first, I'm like, this is the favorite. Or like I don't know, and then now I didn't quite fall in love with it as much. And I don't know how the people in the chat feel, so feel free to chime in if you agree with these two or with me. But again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying it was bad, because it wasn't. But that's how you feel about Mohambi. I felt about Anna today. I was just like, it's fine. I just don't see quite the appeal there. Any follow up comments?
Apart
Well,
from you're wrong, no.
yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I think you should give the song a second try
I
because it's
will, because
better.
it goes to the second chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got no choice. You've got to
I've
give it a
got no
second
choice.
try.
Again, I don't want to be clear. It was just not eventful for me. But she definitely deserved a second chance, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna. I mean, we don't know who she's going. It's a 50-50 shot, and usually the producers will give her a song that she can easily beat. So I expect her to go through to the finals anyway, but she's not going to win. So she's the second chance qualifier. Oh, it's people saying, Matt, you're not alone. I'm with Matt on this one, though she's really likable. She is very likable. I think we all agree on that. So it's not nothing against her. It's just a song to me. It didn't captivate me. But Anna's song was not impactful enough for me. I like my chat, people. I like my chat. I like my chat.
It's nice to have friends, isn't
It's
it,
nice to
Matt?
have friends since the people
Well,
with me on cam are like all different.
someone someone here said that none of the entries tonight will qualify in Eurovision, though. Wow.
I don't know if I mean,
I don't think so. I think
Victoria. I
Victoria is
mean,
a
we can
sure
all agree and
qualifier.
disagree on Mohambi and all that stuff. I think Victoria would just own the juries. Now you can make a
Yes.
case about whether or not she's going to do with the televoters, but I think with the jury she'll get enough points just to go through. Now the fourth song, the second song that also goes through was Nano. Um, Chasing something. What was he chasing again?
Rivers.
Rivers. He was chasing something, and So initially, when I heard the clip that they used for the online thing, the 30-second thing, I was like, okay, this is gonna be really great with gospel and a big chorus. But they used that one part, and then the rest of the song was a little less exciting. Are you surprised, Sonya? Do you think it deserved a second chance, or how did you feel about that one?
Well, there's a guy here before in the chat that he's saying that he agrees with the other two guys. Probably the other two guys
You
are me
got
and
one.
you, Robert.
You
You
got
know,
one of
so
them.
I love Jeffrey. I love Jeffrey. Okay, about Nano. Now that one bored me a lot. I like his voice. I was expecting something like "Take Me to the Church" or "Nobody But You," but the song was very flat, in my opinion. The chorus did nothing to me. Okay, the kids were there. That's nice. That's cute.
And you can't
But
have them
he
at
would not.
Eurovision, because
Yeah,
they're too young.
exactly. You can't. But well, it was nice, cute. But I don't think that song should have been. I don't think it should have even went to the second chance round. I would pick the girl band High 15
High
instead of
15.
him. It was very boring to me.
What
It was
about
very
you,
boring.
Robert?
So I'm not a huge Nana fan. I wasn't a fan as of the Melfest
Me
entry,
neither.
but this I thought was better. I thought this was his best Melfest entry. That's not saying very much, but still, I think that him going through to Andrew Hansen was pretty much spot on what I thought was going to happen. Given the other names in this semi-final, he was always going to be struggling to get a direct to final. But on the same front, I didn't think he would have so little support that he wouldn't make it through to at least Andrew Hansen. So yeah, it's pretty much the Swedish public basically put him where I had him, which is middle of the road for the semi. There are definitely better songs there, but I don't think that he's going to. I think he might struggle to get out of Andrew Hansen. It obviously depends on who he gets paired with, but I'm not too sure. I would be surprised if he was not if he was third out of the semi. I'm pretty sure he's fourth, but we'll see.
Yeah. It
Um,
seems like
because
that's
quite
basically
a lot
what
of people
Go ahead.
who seem to like
He
his
deserves
song.
to be fourth.
Yeah,
I
I
see a
agree.
lot of
I
comments
think
like
quite a
that
lot of
in
the
the
people
chat.
who liked his song last time
And-
seem to be finding this less of a fan, and
Yes.
so
It
you
says
know,
Nano
I
should
think
win.
that's
I am
possibly
old.
damaging.
His voice is bad. Nano, I felt like I heard it before. Nano was pleasant, nothing more. Nano's song was boring. So it seems, and I'm with you on that one, Robert. I like this one actually better as well. When I heard the clip, it's like, oh, that gospel part, that's going to be really good, right? When you just hear that one part, I'm like, oh, if this is like just the beginning, it's going to be big. But that was the biggest part of the song, and I was like, oh, other than that, it really let me down as well. The soulfulness that he brought to the table with "Hold On," that was a little lost here. I just like the song better. I agree with you. It's probably a fair. Um, I put it in fourth place. Actually, I kind of put it in fifth place. But my one, I had a random song that I kind of liked. Um, so I can see where that is going. Um, Someone said echo from the guy in the bottom left. Let me see.
I've gone for the headphones now. Hopefully this should stop it. Apologies, people. I didn't realise it was having so much of a problem.
Okay, you need to maybe crank up the sound a little bit because now it's a little low. But I can actually do that on my end as well. I'm just gonna bring you. Oh, that's
I'll
right.
bring myself up. There you go.
There you're better. Much better.
Sorry
Anyway,
about that, people.
So out of the 3 songs that did not move on, which is High 15, No Drama, Ziana featuring Anis Don Demina, as well as Arya Sayon Ma. Is that one that you wish would have made it at least to the second chance round, or at least through the whole darn thing to the final? Sanyo, I think I know your answer, but just go ahead.
Yeah. High 15 should have gone to the second chance instead of Nano. Nano was awful, guys. Sorry. It
So,
was
but the
bad.
rest you agree with? I know you said Mohombi should have. And so you were saying Anna Bergendahl, Mohombi should switch, and Nano and High
Yeah,
15
yeah.
should switch.
Yeah, Mohombi should not be in the bottom three, but he should have been to the second chance instead of going straight to the final. I love Arya. I was very excited when she was in the list. But this song, it was very very boring. Like it's a good addition. It's nice to have an old person, someone that is a famous name from Melodifestivalen
Hmm.
from the 80s. It's good to have her there. But the song was not good enough. I think she had her moment, and that's it.
What about you, Robert?
Oh dear, this is where the dream team breaks up. I thought her song was amazing and totally should have gone further, and
You're on
I
my
had
team
no
now.
yes, and I had no love whatsoever for High 15 and was very glad that they disappeared early on and I'm
Oh,
actually genuinely cross that they came sixth, not seventh.
Yeah, I thought so
That's how
too.
bad it is.
Okay, now we're ganging up
I'm
on
really
Sanio. Sorry, buddy. No.
yes, sorry.
No,
I
seriously
just
though.
totally. It felt like just a class below everything else tonight. Like, even the other songs that I wasn't so much of a fan of, like, it just was really cheesy with very little to recommend it. And yeah, I just. No interest whatsoever in that song doing well. So, honestly, it coming above Aya, Aja is just, like, almost painful for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally would have her. I mean, I understand 100% why she didn't qualify in any sense of the word. I know what the song sounds like, and those kind of songs. There's always one in Melfest, and there's always one that never gets near the final, and so it's totally not a surprise. But if you are going to give me my dream Sweden, then you needed to have put that at least through to Anna Hansen. You didn't, sorry, but at least you've got Victoria
You
through to
got
the final.
Victoria. You can't have it all.
people,
But
people in
I'm.
the
Go
chat
ahead.
are throwing a lot of shade on High 15, so you got the chat, guys.
Yeah, you
You're on
are
your
allowed to
own.
like a song that is
Oh
not like the. But I'm here with Robert as well. I loved Arya's song as well. I thought it was just because it has a traditional sound and I feel as they're always being unappreciated. I was under no illusion. I know that she was not going to make it even to second chance round. I thought her best case
Yeah.
scenario would be the top five and then being kicked out. But seventh place is a little much. Like, come on. I thought it was had like a little charm to it and sweet. Yes, it's not a winner, but I wish you could. Some of them would go through at least. And High 15 was. It felt like a high school performance to me. It felt like really
oh,
something that I
Yes.
see like I go to my local high school and kids I do like yeah, I don't wanna
how
dance.
dare you?
And so don't get me wrong, I'm sure these girls are very energetic and they seem like sweet girls. I just think they're not. It was just not my style. It just
Yeah.
wasn't for me. And I even like the other one better that went to this what Mina Brander, which was like oi oi oi. I don't go for oi 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 songs, but I thought even that one was a little bit more enjoyable. So if it were up to me, I would have put Aya through over probably Anna or
Oh
Oh
my
my god, I
god!
never
Oh
thought
my
about
god!
that
Oh my
then.
no, maybe
god!
Nano. I don't know. Maybe Nano. I don't know. I would have to flip a coin probably. So anything else to discuss about Melodifestivalen? Then we go over to Isilal real quick.
Oh, can we just finish off with just a little note that
Yes.
the interval act
Oh yes.
with I'm sorry, we cannot go too far without talking about Sarah Dawnfiner as Netta. I am no fan whatsoever of Toy. I thought it was pretty terrible. But oh my god, I would have absolutely voted for that version with Sarah Dawnfiner. She is spot on. The medley of songs tonight was absolutely brilliant, and I think they did an excellent performance. Really captured the spirit. It was fun, it was lively, and if Melody Festival, and I mean, they get so many things right, but that is one of the things they just absolutely are on the nail every single time.
Time. It was
Indeed.
fun how they
Indeed.
did the whole like mashup with like the other Eurovision, Israeli Eurovision winner, how they kind of blended them in. It was just very clever
Oh
and
yeah.
very fun. Did you like it too, Sanio?
Oh, it was marvelous. Eric Saad using those feathers,
Yeah.
the
Kudos
international
to
feathers.
him, because it's like,
That was just fantastic. I loved it. And like the very last moment when the girl was like making the face of Neta's dancer, that was just great. I think Melody Festivaling is. Sometimes I'm a bit scared that Eurovision is going to become a Melody Festivaling, but the show, they do know what they're doing. So it's expected that the Eurovision itself is going to get some elements from the Melodifestivalen and use it on their show.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely right. And the weird thing is, I hardly ever these days like the Swedish entry that ends up in Eurovision, right? But I love
Yeah.
all the other stuff that happens with Melodifestivalen. They just tend to pick the song. I'm like, really? So I think we all
Yes.
agree this was a pretty good first start. I'm not. Did you guys look at the next week? We're not going to go into detail. Have you looked at the next week's lineup already?
Yes.
I've had a brief look.
I understand,
Yes.
like one artist that you look forward to the most.
Andreas Johnson.
Me too. How about you, Robert?
I love him.
None of them.
None of them. No,
This
no
is the
opinion.
one that's missing anyone that I'm a huge fan of, if I'm quite honest. We'll maybe have to wait till the week after for that.
The week after. Okay, that's fair. Now the other semifinal. Oh well, there's one that's still going on. That's going to be Latvia
And
for
on,
another 4
and
hours.
on, and on.
And on and on. But for now, semifinal 2 of Istilau is over, which by many people, myself included, is the inferior one. But nevertheless, we have a few qualifiers. 4, I think, were chosen with the first round, and then 2 additional one in the second round, which is only 100% televote, I believe. I could be wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
Sonia, you paid attention to it as well, right? Do you have any surprises? Do you want to read them, or you want me to read?
Well, I think that the shock of the night was Grete Paya. She did not qualify. I was not expecting that at all. And Lassie J. Lassie J was all Lacey or Lassie, whatever. She was a fan favorite, and I was very surprised that she did not qualify. I don't know, maybe because she's American and they did not want to vote for her, but it doesn't matter because Victor Kron, he qualified and he's Swedish. So I think the biggest shock of the night is that Grit Paya did not qualify. Like her performance was a bit weak, but well, she was at least one of the 6 best songs of the night.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what about you, Robert? Were you also surprised by those two?
Definitely Goethe with her song there. I rather enjoyed the song despite slight brief bit in the middle, which I'm not so much of a fan of. So yeah, I was surprised that that went through. When you have things like "I'll Do It My Way" going through,
Oh
I
my
thought that was.
I'm trying to remember. I'll Do It My Way. That one went through in the second round of voting,
Yes.
I believe, right?
Yes, the second round of voting were the ones that kind of surprised me a little bit, because I thought that we would maybe be seeing, Greta, maybe Lacey, Around the Sun possibly as well. That was quite popular among our. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh dear, I'm making up my fellow Mattitude.
Do you have a favorite
guest
though,
feels
Robert,
that.
on this one, on the list that you wanted to go through, or not really?
Believe. Believe I was happy to see through. Like, Believe and Cold Love, I think were my 2 favourite ones. And out of the ones that missed, I think it has to be Greta, who I'm saddest.
The sad part is I did a reaction video a few weeks ago, a month ago, and I don't remember which one my favorites were, so I'm looking up right now. I put Lacey J in 5th place with Hallelujah, so that one didn't go through, we said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in 4th place, I put Kelly Kivalan with Cold Love. Did she go through?
Cold Love,
yeah.
indeed did. Yes, that
Cold
was
Love.
one
Okay, I
I
put that one in 4th place, I think. Then... No, maybe I'm wrong. Let me see here. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. So
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you get a bit older. Your memory starts to fade.
Oh my god.
my number 1 was pretty... No, because the songs were so not as remarkable. That's why. Uko Sovisti Pretty Little Liar was my number 1.
Oh, that made it.
That made it. Okay, I'm going backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, then my number 2 was Kui Isi Kautan by Grete Paya.
Yeah, that
Oh,
did.
she did not
That was
qualify.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, that ain't right.
Sorry.
And then number 3 was Hallelujah. That's what it was.
Yes, which also didn't qualify.
Wow, those I only picked 3 because there were only 3 I was remotely interested in. So.
1 out of 3, boss.
Well, I guess it got to be the other. It's Pretty Little Lie all the way for me then. Curious about the folks in the chat. Did you like anything in the Estonian national semifinal? Did we miss someone? And at this point, though, now that we have the semifinalists all together, Sanio, who should win? And then who will win?
Oh my god. Now this is a bit hard because everything's so bland in Sonya this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not a song that really stands out. Many people really like Uku's song, Pretty Little Liar, even you, right? Uh he's very beautiful, he's gorgeous. But the song for me it lacks something. It sounds a bit artificial to me. But I think he's going to win. He's not my favorite in the final, but I think he's going to win. My favorite at this point is Believe by Katia. I think the song is just marvelous, and she's a very good performer too. And maybe Sandra, Nurm Salu, but well, I don't think they're going to win. I think this is Zuko's.
Yeah.
in the
I have Sandra Suvitapu as my personal clear favorite. I want that one to win, but I'm under no illusion that it's not going to. If I had to put money down, it will be Victor Crone with Storm. I think he is going to win. What about you, Robert?
Well, if you want to know my personal favorite, I still think it's High Heels in the Neighborhood.
Oh, that one it's my
That's
second favorite probably now.
Just for the sheer insanity and brilliance around it. I mean,
Yes.
could it make it to the win? I mean, no, probably not. I don't want to get my hopes up too high here because it's just going to be disappointing when they inevitably flop in the final. But yeah, I can't see that one winning. Out of the ones tonight, I think that the best chance. I mean, I'd love to think Believe could do it, but I think Pretty Little Liar is probably going to come out ahead. And I do agree with Matt about Storm. I think that one does seem to have a lot of support, a lot of push.
It just seems that kind of
And-
song that just seems like the safest, the most, inoffensive one,
Yeah.
I feel like.
The only interesting thing to see is, of course, that in the final we do have the super final, and the actual entry is pure televote, and it'll be interesting to see because obviously we haven't got the splits for the jury
Yeah.
televote,
Yeah.
but it will be really interesting to see whether the songs that we think are strong are actually being backed by the jury, and it's actually the televote. All they need is a strong televote result to get in the top three.
Yes.
And then
That
if they're the
happened to
televote
Verona.
favorite,
Verona
Yeah.
was not doing that well with the juries, kind of like in Eurovision as well. But the televoters were like, nope, we want this.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that is
So-
exactly what happened. Now the people are talking about. Thank God the cats are out. The Katzen. Wo sind die Katzen?
Oh my god!
I have
Love
watched the
that.
performance, so I gotta watch that. I wonder if they have actually a cat outfit on stage.
They
Any
have
of you guys a
cat
fan of
outfits.
it?
No, it was horrific. Please, I'm so glad that's not gone through. That was just terrible. I mean, what is it? Yeah, like I mean, Eurovision, of course. I mean, we've got a great tradition of quite crazy, insane songs. Some even do quite well. I mean, who can forget Verka Shadutska? I mean, that is an utterly ridiculous, insane song, and yet it nearly won. It definitely won a lot of people's hearts. But yeah, in this case, it was just like the wrong end of daft. It was just silly. It didn't really make sense. There's nothing to recommend it. And yeah, I am very glad that they are very firmly out of the selection.
Yeah.
But there's always something like that in Estonia, right? There were at least two weirdo songs.
They're very.
Let's
Yes.
call them alternative.
Oh, that's
Or
good word.
I prefer weirdo, but yeah.
So that's basically the time we have. Just real quick, what are you guys looking forward to the most next week? Sanyo, a specific show, a specific song?
Well, I'm very disappointed actually with Hungary. They're usually my favorite country, but they kicked out two very good songs. They kicked out Oliver Beck's last in the first heat, and now they kicked out Leandro Chaos, and I'm so disappointed with them. I was really looking forward watching their next semifinal, but I'm not really into them anymore.
Anymore, your favorites are gone. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
It sucks when that
I'm so
happens. That's the sucky part.
disappointed.
When you have all these heats and semifinals, and then all your songs leave early, you're kind of no longer interested in the next stages. So I totally feel you on that one. How about you, Robert?
Well, I mean, as people might have been able to tell, I am British.
I forgot about
that. So, of course, the highlight of the next week is, of course, the UK National Final on Friday, where we will have the delight of listening to 6 X Factor rejects perform 3 different songs. And select the latest 26th place in the final for Eurovision. Yeah. No, I mean, to be honest, I am looking forward to it in a sense, just because it is my home national final, and I think that whilst I don't agree with the song selection for the most part, the show itself is generally quite good fun, and I will be interested to see who we send this year. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting show. I know that none of them stand any hope whatsoever, and I really hope that we start finding a slightly different method of selecting a song, because
we keep saying that every year.
It's like, yeah, I know we do, but the BBC just don't seem to be listening to me. I mean,
no, you know, anyone. Like, I get that because you're in a slump, you're trying to figure it out. Germany seems to have figured it out now. They're like, okay, we figured a system out that's working. So the UK just does something that Germany did 3 years ago when it didn't work. Yeah. You know, like, you hear 3 songs and the different artists will perform it. I'm like, no, you don't want Levina this. So it's just really, it's not good. So I feel your pain. I
think they have 2 songs that could do decently in Eurovision. And I think the fans are not paying attention on that, because everybody's crazy about Carrie Ann and that song, and I think that's going to do as good as Suri. I think Holly Tandy would be a nice choice. You know, it's a country pop song, simple. I think it would be nice to have something like that for UK.
Well, everyone else can watch my video, my reaction video, because I'm not going to say here who my favorite was, because everyone's laughing at me and yelling at me. So I'll leave it at that.
Oh, come, do tell us, Matt. Do tell us.
No, you're going to freak out.
Oh no, Matt! Oh God, no!
Oh, is it
delicious water?
Really? Oh my God!
Anyway, I love that
Sweet
song.
Lies.
We're having Italy next week, all right, guys? Italy.
Oh, this is going to take even longer. Well, anyway, the point is there is so much going on, and once again, everyone, I know I wasn't around this week, but I don't get paid for this a whole lot, so I gotta have a real life job as well, and I have to travel a lot. But that's all done. There will be plenty of videos. People are asking about reaction videos. I will do another one in a couple of hours. It takes a little bit to edit, but it should be up tomorrow. And more to come every single day, probably right now. Thanks again, Robert. Thank you, Sonia, for joining me tonight.
You're welcome.
And we'll be back soon with our next live stream, everyone. Enjoy the rest of Supernova and whatever's out there. I think that's it for the night. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye now.
Bye.